So, welcome to the first episode of my breaking the common myths about aging and giving a little bit of discussion about what I think about that sort of thing. I've taken a list of, I've got 10. The first one is depression and loneliness are normal in older adults. So, although we think that depression is part of the process of the decline which happens as we age, the numbers can actually look quite different. It's more of a fact that chronic illness, which is not unusual in an aging person, can lead to a greater amount of depression. Um, the number of age-related diseases which we can get are, heart-related issues, forms of cancer. It can be emotionally draining, and depression is often a part of that. And the treatments for one or more illnesses at the same time, and the repercussions from the treatments can actually be what causes more depression um, in adults because of hormonal bounces and sort of things like that that can happen from the treatments. Let's face it, chemotherapy is not fun, but it has been proven that if we can stave off those diseases, then the aging process is actually lengthened. But doing that, we may gain a sense that we're losing control over our lives, and that leads to depression. There are other age-related symptoms which can feel like, but are not actually depression. Sometimes food can be the issue. I call it the tea and toast syndrome, when the bother of preparing a meal does not seem worth it. A snack becomes the meal, and then the energy levels drop and stay low all the time because you're not feeding yourself properly. Um, since the energy isn't there, a general sense of fatigue sets in, and this can lead to further digestive issues, constipation, a greater sense of malaise, and hence greater depression. There's also a tendency, and this is so easy to fall into, a tendency to glaze the past with nostalgia and to view innovation with distrust or even fear. And it's always been this way. It has always been this way. The new generations is doing whatever. New science is coming in. You know, the trains hit the same sort of snag that we are now hitting with AI. But it can lead to a crankiness, nervousness about going out into the world, which is now more dangerous in our perception. Although I'm hearing that a lot from younger people as well in our new post-COVID reality. Um, Not going out and not being part of life becomes a smaller world, and a smaller world then becomes a sense of depression as well. And then there's the nagging nudge of the aches and pains of an aging body. The symptoms are real. It's what do you do about the symptoms, and how do you stop them from becoming suicidal thoughts or even attempts? Um, let's face it, with some of the little nagging aches and pains, we need to resort to surgeries and joint replacements and things like that. But a lot of times it's just a result of a more sedentary lifestyle. As a fitness practitioner, I have to work with more mobility training. I have to work with more of the just getting people out and feeling their strength. Strength training is really important for people older, like me, um, because we lose so much muscle tissue through through sarcopenia, which is the natural loss of muscle tissue with aging. But we can stave that off by continuing to work out. And you have a healthier body, you feel more like going out, your self confidence rises as you see what you're capable of doing. And then the depression can also be alleviated. I don't want to say that there is no actual depression caused by hormonal issues in the human body in an older population. That can also be there, and therefore antidepressant drugs, psychotherapy, a hybrid approach could help. Mindset training, which is always important. Kids need to learn to think positively. We all need mindset training to help us not look just at the negatives of life. I had a friend who talked about being in a park and always looking down at the ground to make sure you're not stepping in dog shit. Well, you miss the sky and the trees and everything else. Sometimes it's worth it to get dirty shoes. Um, there's great work being done now using app-based technology, added connectivity to improve social lives. reminders to take your medications, better methods of scanning overall health are leading to improved possibilities of aging in place. Aging in place is very important because a lot of people are afraid of losing their home and therefore their self-control by being put into a home. Conversely, some people are better off in a home because it allows them for greater sense of community with other people. So we have to look at what is better for the individual, not just as better for the group as a whole. In Canada, nearly 20% of seniors show signs of some form of depression, but it goes up to about 40% if they are hospitalized or in long-term housing. This is a 5% increase in the general population, so it's not just seniors are so bad. But we do have to think in terms of keeping people out of hospitals, out of long-term housing as much as we possibly can, seeking new solutions for the way that we can age in place and stay physically active as much as possible. So that's it. Depression is not something you're doomed to just because you're over the age of 60. Thanks, guys.